The most sadistic cult leaders, brainwashing, rituals, and murders. A remote compound, hidden deep in the woods. Men and women chant in unison, their eyes hollow, their bodies malnourished. A figure stands above them, arms raised, claiming to be a prophet. But behind his words of salvation lies something far darker, a world of mind control, abuse, and murder. For centuries, sadistic cult leaders have lured in the vulnerable, promising enlightenment, community, or salvation. But once inside, followers found themselves trapped in a nightmare, forced to endure brainwashing, horrifying rituals, and even brutal murders. Today, we uncover the most sadistic cult leaders in history, their twisted beliefs, their dangerous methods, and the lives they destroyed. 1. Jim Jones, the man behind the Jonestown Massacre. Jim Jones started as a charismatic preacher with a vision of an equal utopian society. But beneath his message of unity lay an obsession with control. Manipulation. Jones controlled every aspect of his followers' lives, where they lived, who they spoke to, even what they ate. Isolation. In 1974, he moved his cult, the People's Temple, deep into the jungle of Guyana, South America. He called it Jonestown, but it was more like a prison. Mass suicide. On November 18, 1978, after ordering the execution of a U.S. congressman investigating the cult, Jones forced over 900 people, including children, to drink cyanide-laced punch. Those who resisted were shot. To this day, Jonestown remains one of the most chilling examples of mass control and mass murder. 2. Charles Manson, the cult leader who ordered mass murder. Helter Skelter is coming. These words became the twisted prophecy of Charles Manson, the man who brainwashed his followers, mostly young, lost hippies, into committing brutal murders. The family. Manson gathered his family in a remote desert commune, where he fed them LSD, isolated them from the world, and convinced them he was a messiah. The Tate LaBianca murders. On August 9, 1969, Manson's followers broke into actress Sharon Tate's home and murdered her, along with 4 others. The next night, they struck again, butchering a wealthy couple. His influence. Though Manson never killed anyone himself, he brainwashed others into doing it for him. Even in prison, he remained a symbol of darkness, his followers still devoted to him decades later. 3. David Koresh, the deadly standoff in Waco. David Koresh claimed to be the final prophet of God. He took control of a group known as the Branch Davidians and turned their peaceful faith into a doomsday cult. Child brides and abuse. Koresh took multiple wives, some as young as 12 years old, claiming they were chosen by God. The Waco Siege. In 1993, after reports of child abuse and illegal weapons, the FBI raided the cult's Texas compound. The 51-day siege ended in tragedy, as a fire engulfed the building, killing 76 people, including children. The aftermath. To this day, Waco remains one of the deadliest cult standoffs in U.S. history. 4. Shoko Asahara, the man who poisoned a city. In 1984, a blind man in Japan claimed to be a messenger of God and founded a cult called Aum Shinrikyo. His followers believed he could predict the future, but in reality, he was a terrorist in disguise. Doomsday prophecies. Asahara convinced his followers that the world would end in nuclear war and only they would be saved. The Tokyo subway attack. On March 20, 1995, cult members released deadly sarin gas into the Tokyo subway system, killing 13 people and injuring over 5,000. Justice served. Asahara was eventually captured and executed, but his cult still has followers today. 5. Rock Terrio, the butcher of the Ant Hill Kids. One of the most sadistic cult leaders in history, Rock Terrio ruled over his small Canadian cult, the Ant Hill Kids, with unimaginable cruelty. Torture and mutilation. Terrio tortured his followers, forcing them to break their own bones, pull out their own teeth, and even burn themselves. Brutal murders. He murdered at least 2 members, once cutting open a woman's stomach with a knife while she was still alive. Final justice. He was arrested and sentenced to life in prison, but his horrific crimes left permanent scars on his victims. 6. Adolfo Constanzo, the cult leader who sacrificed humans. In Mexico, a self-proclaimed satanic priest turned a drug smuggling ring into a bloodthirsty death cult. Black magic and rituals. Constanzo believed that human sacrifices gave him power, leading him to murder at least 15 people in gruesome rituals. The Matamoros murders. His cult's killing spree was finally exposed when a missing American student led authorities to a mass grave filled with mutilated corpses. A violent end. Before police could capture him, Constanzo ordered one of his followers to shoot him dead. Final thoughts. How do cults trap people? What makes people follow these sadistic leaders? The answer is chilling. Psychological manipulation, fear, and false hope. Brainwashing. Cult leaders break down their followers' identities, replacing them with obedience and devotion. Isolation. By cutting members off from the world, they control what they believe and who they trust. Fear and violence. Those who tried to leave often face threats, torture, or death. These cults didn't just destroy lives, they created nightmares that still haunt history. Red Circle, are there still dangerous cults today? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more dark, terrifying truths, subscribe to Dark Truth Daily and hit that notification bell.